I think it's our bodies like saying, "Hey, that's not good. You shouldn't be eating that."
Brian, how did you find carnivore?
Well, let's see. That takes me back to 2022. In the spring of 2022, actually, I started out with just going low carb, doing keto, and basically, I was quite a bit overweight. Excuse me. Um, and I found Dr. Barry's YouTube channel, and I knew other people that were doing keto and they were losing weight. So I decided to go the keto route. And I started doing that for a couple months, like 2, 3 months or so. I guess probably good 3 months. And I lost a little bit of weight, but I didn't see like a lot of changes yet. Like I still had a lot of pain. I had back pain. I had some arthritis in my big toe, and just other things like that. So I kept watching videos. I watched Dr. Barry. I ran into Bart K, watching his videos. Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Sean Baker. A lot of the main people there, and I said, I think that carnivore is probably the better route for me to go. So in July of 2022, I went to the carnivore diet. And about that same time, I started watching Carnivore Quest channel, YouTube channel. And I think it probably wasn't too much after that. I actually started watching your channel. I think it was when it started up. So maybe it was a few months later after that, something like that. And just using all the different experiences and the information I was learning to help on my journey. And it went really well at first. From the beginning of July to like September timeframe, I had lost about 60 to 65 pounds. And I'd say within the first few weeks, most of my pain, like back pain, joint pain, stuff like that, was gone. I had stopped snoring. That was a big issue that I had before, was the snoring. So a lot of that stuff was gone. My energy levels were increasing, and it was going really well. Then as I kind of hit the holidays, I kind of slipped up a little bit and had to get back in track in January of 2023. And from there, I lost a little bit more weight. I've lost a total of 85 pounds. Um, and it's been almost 2 years now. So just basically a month short of 2 years doing the carnivore diet. And I haven't really lost a whole lot of weight recently. I still see some changes in my body, like um, I'll see a little bit more muscle tone, that kind of stuff. But haven't really seen the difference in the scale. And I think that's just where, you see differences because muscle tends to weigh a little more. You might still be losing a little body fat. Like I see a difference in my waist, but I don't see the difference in the scale, right? So I think that's where I'm at the point, I guess, where it's like you don't want to worry so much about the scale anymore. It's about the health benefits and continuing to see changes in your body shape and that kind of stuff. So
You feeling like kind of the weight side of things is a secondary thing. That's kind of the cream on top of the cake or something, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, I would say so. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I feel like that's the same for me, but also a lot of other people I've spoken to, the pain going is a much bigger bonus, you know.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, like, sometimes I watch YouTube channels, and they make it seem like it's so easy, and I'm a realist here. It's not that easy. Um, and I always, when I slip up and I start to eat something I shouldn't, the pain comes back in some way, right? Like I'll start to feel some pain in my wrist if I've had certain carbs, or if I start to eat some vegetable or something, and I'm like, no, I gotta stop, right? So that pain does come back if you do the wrong things, at least for me. And that's kind of like the reminder that has always kept me on track that, yes, I need to stay with what I'm doing. There's a reason why I eat this way and I feel this way, and I want to continue to feel good. So that always happens.
It's really scary to me actually how quickly it can come back just by eating the wrong foods and how it shows how sensitive we are to what we eat.
Yeah. And I think it's our bodies like saying, hey, that's not good. You shouldn't be eating that. And I mean, your body is smart, right? It does wonders to heal you, but at the same time, like if you're eating the wrong things, there's different mechanisms to make you feel like, yeah, I shouldn't be eating that. Whether you get an upset stomach or something, or you get pain back because maybe you're eating something with oxalates in them or something like that, right? Your body does a good job of giving you signs like, yeah, that's not right. Don't do that anymore.
Yeah, yeah, it really is like your body saying, "Look, I thought we had this discussion. I thought this was over, but this is just a reminder. This is going to get a whole lot worse if you're going to pump this poison back into me again."
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So, along the way, did you have any other health things that cleared up?
Yeah, I had some mild depression that tend to go pretty quickly after going to carnivore diet, and um, fatigue. I don't know if I really mentioned that at first, but fatigue. Like for years, I just never really felt like doing things. I'd get done working or whatever, and I just want to sit on the couch, relax, watch TV, play video games, whatever. My wife would want to go out and do something, and I wouldn't want to do it. And I don't know that really quickly happened. Like I think it was a little bit more over time that I got better and better with that. But it's gotten to the point that a lot of times I actually want to go and do something. And I can give like an example. Like I'm not a shopper, but my wife likes to go shopping, right? And in the past, like she would want to go shopping somewhere, and we'd go, and probably 20 minutes in, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Are we done yet? And this was like about a month or so ago. We went shopping, and we were out like pretty much all day, like 6, 7 hours or so. And I didn't complain once. That was like amazing. I don't know if that's ever happened before in my life. So,
Yeah, when it comes to shopping, Carnivore hasn't done that for me.
no.
I'm still like, are we done yet? Um, so, um, so how are you eating day to day?
um, you know, most of the time I would say it's one meal a day, but there are times that there's two meals a day. So that I've been into working out more, lifting weights here in the last few weeks, and on those days, it's definitely been twice a day. Um, I typically will work out maybe like around noon time frame, right? And it's probably more like 2, 3 o'clock when I just give in. I'm like, I'm just too hungry at this point. I need to eat something. So I'll probably have some kind of beef and eggs. Might be like a pound of ground beef into like burger patties or something, or it might be like a 16-ounce steak, something like that. And then 3, 4, 5 eggs somewhere in there. And then typically, again, this is on days I work out, typically again, 6, 7 o'clock or so, I will have something else. Maybe it's more eggs, well, 4, 5, 6 eggs, something like that. Or maybe it's a steak. Occasionally, I might have like chicken wings or something like that. But most of the time, it's going to be beef. And then on days that I don't really work out, I tend to get by with eating one meal, like more around 5, 6 o'clock time frame in the evening. And I'd say probably between like a 16 to a 24-ounce steak if I have steak. If not, there's going to be a good pound or so of ground beef, and again, probably some eggs. Potentially, maybe occasionally some bacon, but most of the time, again, it's beef. And that just seems to fill me up for the day.
So I remember the last time you came on, which is a few months ago now. Um, I think your children were just getting ready to go out to university. The
Mm,
moving out to go to university.
yeah.
So like between that time and now, has anything changed for you? Whether it's about health or routines or something you just all of a sudden went, "Oh, that's better now," or something?
Um, I'd say there's probably not as much variety in my diet. It's probably more beef than what it was then. So there was still a lot of beef, but I think I was probably having chicken more often and maybe like some pulled pork, that kind of stuff. And I don't have it very often anymore. Occasionally, it's more of like a treat type of thing. So I would definitely say that I'm eating more beef than I used to. And I think that helps because if I remember correctly back then, excuse me, back then I was eating 2 meals a day, like pretty much every day. And when I eat beef, I seem to get fuller and stay full for a longer period of time. So I think that's made a difference. Um, it was a crazy school year because my one daughter was down by the beach in Myrtle Beach area, and we were going there a lot. So I got to go to the beach a lot, and I would say that during that time period, there were a lot of times when I would get seafood. I get crab legs, that kind of thing, and I haven't really had that in a while because she's been home for the summer now. So there was that happening, the seafood, but otherwise it was pretty much a lot more. Um, I mean, a lot more beef. I would say it's going to be interesting because so we're in June here. This weekend actually, depending on when this video comes out, we're my youngest daughter is moving back to that area, and she's getting an apartment that she's going to stay in. So she's being considered like a permanent residence thing, so that her schooling ends up being cheaper and so forth. So we're moving her back down there, so that's going to be interesting. We're probably means we're going to be doing a lot more traveling down there and so forth. So we'll see how that all goes. When I travel, it's hit or miss for me. I'll have times that I do really well and eat very well, and then there's times that just because of what's happening, I didn't prepare properly or whatever. I'm hungry, and I just kind of go with the flow of what's happening with other people, and don't eat quite as well. So I did that like Memorial Day weekend here in the U.S. That's the end of May timeframe. It was so a couple weeks ago. We were moving someone, and the one day I we I was doing a lot of work, moving boxes and all that kind of stuff, getting kind of hungry, and they bought pizza for people, and they bought me this pizza bowl thing, which basically had just cheese and meat toppings. It didn't even have the sauce or anything, so that was pretty cool. But you know how it is when we eat. We only eat 1 or 2 meals a day, and we eat a good amount of food. That did not fill me up at all. So the problem is, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a piece of pizza. I ended up having 2 pieces of pizza, and I just felt so bad that night and into the next day. Like um, sluggish, tired, and uh, my stomach maybe didn't feel the best. That kind of stuff. Definitely kind of felt like the carb coma, if you will, right? So those kinds of things happen sometimes when I travel. So I have to get better at being clean when I travel and planning ahead and making sure I've got the food that I need and so forth.
It's good that the pizza didn't reactivate any cravings or anything, you know? 'Cause that's always my concern. It's like if I eat something like that, it's just gonna be a kind of downward spiral.
Well, it kind of did a little bit. So that was a Saturday, I think, and Sunday was fine. But then Monday morning when we were leaving, there's a place there called Tim Hortons, and they don't have that over by where I live, but it's in Canada and kind of in like the Midwest area of the US. And they have like donuts and coffee and all that kind of stuff, right? And so my wife wanted to stop there, and I just couldn't resist, so I had a donut. So that was the first donut I had in a long time, but I think it was partly because I had ate the pizza a couple days before that I craved to eat that again. So yeah, in the first couple days I was home, I think I was kind of tempted a bit by other stuff that was in the house. You know, the kids been home, and my wife doesn't eat carnivore style either, so I was a bit tempted. But the good thing is that it seemed like within a couple of days, those cravings went away again, and I've been good ever since. So
And after that donut, how did your body react with that?
let's just say between the pizza and the donut that I had some bathroom issues for a couple of days.
Enough said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's even last night. I had some friends come over from the States, and we went out to have barbecue last night. And normally, even with barbecue, I'm pretty picky. Like I'll be saying to them, "Don't put any marinade on it. I just want the beef. No kind of sugary, saucy kind of topping things on it or whatever." But because I was catching up with friends, I didn't want to. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be like the guy who stands out like a sore thumb, going, "I'm not eating that. That's touched something." And so I just ate it, but I did feel like my stomach wasn't enjoying this. It's kind of like, you suddenly start to feel that rumbly stomach again. And again, that's just from a marinade. That's not from anything big either. It just seems to, in a good way, it seems to make you more sensitive to things.
Definitely. And I found that eating out can be hit or miss. Some places you can go, they do a good job of, cooking it just how you want it and so forth, and things are good. I've gone to places though where I've gotten a steak and I go and take the first bite and I'm like, I just know right away this was cooked in some kind of like vegetable oil or something, right? There's some kind of seed oil that was used. And like I'll say that, and like my daughter will look at me and she's like, you have no way of how can you possibly tell that? I'm like, I'm serious. I'm not like you. I don't eat it all the time, every day. So when I do eat it, like it's got a different taste. Like I can tell the difference.
Yeah, definitely it's got a different taste, but also I feel like there's a smell. There's a seed oils just have this smell now for me.
Yeah.
Kind of like, when you haven't had a lot of the sugary carbs and you haven't had a lot of bread and stuff like that, or you've cut it out completely for a while, and then you walk past a bakery and you're like, whoa, that just smells of sugar now, it doesn't smell like bread, it smells like sugar. And then yeah, you walk past somewhere that's using seed oils and it's like, oh, that smells rancid.
Mm. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So yeah, it definitely makes you more sensitive. But so regarding when you came on last time, you talked about how you had previously suffered with AFib. Has that been a continued non-issue?
Yeah. I'm almost 2 years. So I guess I'm like 23 months or so here, or not quite 23 months, like 22 and a half months, because it was a few weeks into starting the carnivore diet. So basically, with no episodes, I have not had any episodes. And as you might remember when I was talking before about it, before I started carnivore, I was having 2 to 3 episodes a week where I would go into AFib, and I was on medication, and luckily most of the time the medication would get me back out of it. There was only one time before that they had to actually go in and shock my heart back into rhythm. But I have not had any episodes. Some months back, on the last visit to the cardiologist, he took me off of the medication, and I have been going in to see him every 6 months. And he just set like a year checkup to do like a physical, not a physical, but I'm sorry, what do I want to say? I can't. What do they call it? Stress test. There you go.
Oh,
So
like on
yeah,
the EKG or whatever, or the ECG,
um,
or
yeah, like they hook up some equipment to you, and you go on a treadmill, and they say that it's just walking, but when you get on that thing, they want to get your heart rate to a certain rate, so they start out walking, and the next you're pretty much running on that thing. So I remember the last time I did that, I was like, is my heart rate up good enough? Are you good? Because I'm over here running here and I'm getting tired. But so yeah, that was the last thing that he set up. So I have that coming up in the fall, so like 3-4 months from now, just to see how things are going and so forth. But um, yeah, he doesn't have me as high risk anymore. So, and I have not had any episodes, so it's been great.
oh, nice. Yeah, my last yearly physical, they gave me one of those stress tests, but I didn't have a treadmill. I had steps.
Mm.
And by the time the steps were over, like I'd go up, up, down, down, turn around, up, down, down. And after that was over, I was like done. I never wanted to see another step in my life. Yeah. Yeah. So that's awesome. Um, so can you tell us a little bit about your channel? What kind of videos you got on there? What do you got coming up, and how can we find you?
Yeah, so my channel, first of all, it's Wick Goes Carnivore is the name. It's at Wickivore, Wickivore. And I've actually been a little bit over a year that I've been doing the channel. I guess it was like May of 23 when I started the channel. So a little bit over a year I've been doing the channel, and mostly just talking about the carnivore diet, different ways you can start the carnivore diet, different experiences I have in see if that might help other people. Occasionally I interview people on the channel, though I haven't done a whole lot of interviews lately. Um, but I did just do an interview recently with one of the Carnivore brothers, Rhett from the Carnivore Brothers YouTube channel, and that just recently came out. Um, as for what's coming up on the channel, I just continuing to talk about different things, but probably the next couple weeks here are not going to be quite as busy for me on the channel. Yeah, I have a lot going on. I think I mentioned that this weekend I'm moving my daughter into her apartment, and then I come home for like a day or two, and then I'm going on a cruise, and it's like a 10-day cruise. So uh, I'm probably going to have some good content that I'm going to record during the cruise that I'll have after that. But for the next, probably couple of weeks, there's probably not going to be a whole lot on the channel. Um, there's a few things that I've kind of pre-recorded here that I'm working on, but there's probably won't be as much in the next few weeks. The other thing I'll say is on my channel, I've been trying to go more so with a lot of quick content, like 5, 6, 7 minute videos, just so that people get the chance to read it or to watch it, whatever, and go on to whatever they're doing. They're watching another channel or whatever they're doing. So try not to bog people down with too long of videos. And I think that that's been more effective, at least for me. So that's what I've been focusing on.
So I'll link to your channel below. I'm really interested though. This cruise, are you going to be able to keep this at carnivore level, do you think?
That is the plan. And I've heard some really good things from people that are carnivore and have gone on a cruise already. I've never been on a cruise in my life. This will be my first time ever going on a cruise. But, uh, I've heard from people that say like there's a lot of good options where you can go in there. And for instance, um, there's like a buffet place where you can go and you can just get, whatever you want meat wise and so forth. Um, so I feel pretty good about it. And, I'm not going to get any kind of a drink planned. So that means that all I can pretty much drink is water. So that's a good way to do that, right? So I don't have to worry about, drinking any soda or anything because I'm not going to be allowed to. They're going to be like, nope, you don't have the plan. But yeah, I will say Dr. Tony Hampton I had a video that come out talking about it, and he had posted that I'm gonna love it. There are some craving issues if you have if you have the problem with cravings, you will have some of that because you're gonna go to a restaurant or buffet or whatever it is, and you're gonna see all kinds of desserts and stuff. But there's a lot of good meat options, he said, and he said that I should be fine. And I've heard from other people that say that it's pretty good for carnivore. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, enjoy your time. And Brian, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dave.